Welcome to another episode of Baran Situations. Today's situation involves the Amazing Digital Circus. But before we get into that, today's wife of the day is Kaguya Shimonia from Kaguya-sama Love is War. Today's waifu was suggested by commenter Baran's Dumping Grounds, also known as Baran's Archiving Station. Interesting. This guy's name is also Baran. I wonder why. Is it because this is actually just my second channel and I used it because nobody suggested a waifu last time? No, absolutely not. I'm 100% not affiliated with Baran's Dumping Grounds at all, I swear. And if you want to suggest a waifu of the day, comment down below your waifu, and if she gets the top comment, she'll be in the next episode. So recently, Glitch finally released the 9th and final episode of the Amazing Digital Circus, remember, on Netflix and YouTube. Because as you all know, 2 weeks earlier, they released the episode early in theaters along with episode 8 as a full feature film called The Amazing Digital Circus, The Last Act. Now sadly, your boy did not go and see it because unfortunately my theater didn't get the movie. Shocking, I know. So anyways, here are my thoughts on the episode. So first of all, this episode is almost an hour long. Yikes. So this episode doesn't have a lot of funny moments. It's definitely a lot more tender than like the previous episodes. There were some funny moments, sure, but a lot of the moments are definitely more tender. And I didn't necessarily cry while watching this episode, but I will acknowledge there were definitely a lot more, emotional moments, more cute moments, wholesome moments. Like one scene where, Pomni hugs Ragatha and, later on where he hugs Jax. Anyways, as for Jax though, as you all know, in this episode, spoiler alert, he abstracts. Yeah, unfortunately, R.I.P. Jax, you'll be missed. The GOAT, the greatest character in the whole show. He was a great person. He did no wrong, I swear. But jokes aside, I got Jax being abstracted spoiled for me because sadly I didn't actually watch the episode during the premiere because I had actually come back from a road trip and it was like 1 a.m. and unfortunately the premiere in my time zone was at 1 a.m. so I couldn't watch the episode immediately, so I had to watch it, when I woke up later. The problem is, when I was like, on my YouTube homepage, literally, one of the first videos was the actual episode itself, but like immediately under it was a community post saying RIP Jax and stuff, and that kind of pissed me off, but whatever. Also, this episode has a lot of, character development. We do see Kane finally realize what he's been doing wrong, and he's trying to, fix everything because somehow Kane doesn't actually die. He's just been transported to another part of the world. Also, this episode reveals the true identities of all the members of the circus, so we finally know what they were doing before entering the circus. Now, one thing I'm very confused about is that in the episode we can see that they're still active and stuff before, entering the circus. So does that mean like they're still alive, like in the real world? And that, the versions of them that appear in the circus like aren't actually their real selves, but rather just clones of them. Because I thought before entering the world, because whatever the game was it that had the Amazing Digital Circus on it, they played it and they went inside the world. Like I genuinely thought, the real world's bodies are like unconscious or dead. Like I thought they would, literally be unconscious because their souls are trapped inside the game. And all their family members were wondering what the hell happened to them. Why are they dead all of a sudden from playing the game? But apparently that's not the case. They're still active in the real world despite being in the circus. So what did they when they were playing the game? Did they just get cloned? In the world, like their real life counterparts are still active or still alive, but the versions that appear in the circus are just clones. Like just take their personalities and just put them in the game, in the in-game model. Like I'm actually very confused about that. In the end, they don't actually escape the circus. They realize because afterwards, they obviously make up with Kane and they have fun in this circus finally. Although there is a post-credit scene where we see all the real-life counterparts of the characters, still alive. So yeah. One extra note before I go is that I hope this series gets released on Blu-ray or DVD or even 4K Blu-ray. I'm not holding my breath, obviously, because so far none of Glitch's shows have been released on home media. But it'd be pretty cool if we, get the, the uncensored versions on home media. Let's say it has all the cuts of the series. It also has, the theatrical version of episodes 8 and 9, because I know they might be slightly different, right? Because there might be some opening bullshit and whatnot, opening credits. I think the credits in episode 8, might have been removed, and they just go straight into episode 9. I really hope, that we eventually get a whole media release as like the whole series, every version of this show. As some bonus media as well, bonus features, like some of the videos they've released on YouTube, they're being included as bonus features, but I'm not holding my breath. I don't think it's likely, but it's still cool if it happens. I might buy it. Anyways, that was my thoughts on the episode. Overall, I give it a solid 9 out of 10. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, buddies.